You ever just have to start a video and you're just not ready? Well, me neither. Um, I Chris Villa did another question and answer today, and I'm not going to antagonize him further by applying for a job. Um, but I'll tell you a few things I've learned from him. One is, don't just be natural. Be in your natural environment. Don't you have books behind you because you're a literary guy, and don't make a big deal out of it. I mean, you have your books, and people are gonna look at them if they want to look at them, and look, there's some there, and fine. Let's hope this isn't doing things in reverse, so you can read the. But anyway, there's no meaning to the books I have behind me. I just have, of course, one day I'll give you a tour like he does, but maybe I'll give you a tour of his books. But anyway, I'm trying to go fast because I don't want a long one here. I'm going to do the question and answer. I'm going to do it very quickly. Why are you not a professor? He was asked. And I'm doing this as part of my master class. This is not an audition. So, fuck that. Chris, I cannot approach him as because it's the COVID. And anyway, the first question he's asked, and I'm looking at his table of contents. Why are you not a professor? Rick Harsch answering. Why don't you ask the many people who have fired me? Do you believe in objective aesthetic superiority? I'll tell you, there are times when it's pretty fucking obvious. Like, if you watch my daughter dance and then you watch me dance, you'll believe in objective aesthetic superiority too. What are your thoughts on the literary canon? I just Googled this. The Schwerer Gustav was the best canon ever, and it's been written about. What are your thoughts on books in translation? Falabogu, thank God. Falabogu, thank God. I threw a translation in there to be clever. I can't read them if they're not. What are some basics on your reading process? Seeing what the title is, who the author is, opening the book, and then I just I'll be frank. I turn the pages, just like they say we all put our pants on one or two legs at a time. I turn the pages one or two at a time. What books influenced you most in becoming a serious reader? If any book made me a serious reader, I'd be a serious reader. When did you discover your passion for literature? I think it was after the last time I was kicked out of bed for trying to get past second base. When did you know you wanted to be a writer? When I was 6 years old and I was writing about the Philippines. What books would you like to see adapted to movies? All of them. How do you compare reading literature, fiction, to literary theory and philosophy? One is fiction and the other is nonfiction. But the one that is fiction says it's fiction, and the other one is like metafiction and more fiction than fiction. The other two, by the way. How long did it take you to accumulate your book collection? I don't have a book collection. I have a bunch of books around me. I've had to sell my books because of poverty twice. Each time I sold the most beautiful copy of The Arabian Nights, and I've never gotten it back. And, so it goes. And do I do a lot? Do I do it enough? I'll talk to Chris privately about that. Can you talk about your current writing project? Yes, I can, and I'll do it in a separate video. It's a people's book. It's an anthology. It's called Olaf Palme, The Assassination of Olaf Palme, a people's novel. and I will probably write about 80% of it, and the remaining 20% will be written by at least, I would think by now, it looks like it's going to be at least 100 different people who contribute to varying degrees. Chapters, sentences, words, and repeated chapters in some cases. So that's a fascinating project, and it's going to be one of a kind, about 1,000 pages, it looks like. Okay, there, I did it. I talked about that. If you could interview any author, living or dead, who would it be? Me. Have you considered reading Antonio Lobo Antunes, one of my favorite writers, whose Fado Alexandrino is one of the best books I ever read, and whose explanation of the birds was my choice for the best novel that starts with E. And I have about 6, 7, 8 of his books laying around. South of Nowhere, which was retranslated and into something else. South of Nowhere was extraordinary tavern confession novel. And do you ever listen to? No, I don't. Thank you. Bye bye.